All right. Well, thanks everyone for entertaining us with your fall drinks and joining us for our coffee chat today. As you can see, we're talking a lot about fall, and that's because so many wonderful things happen in the fall. And I know it's a busy time for all of you. And so we just wanted to have a time where we could chat with you, give you some information about what we see during the fall and what we like to do and what you can use the platform for to engage your employees and make sure they feel appreciated and part of the festivities as we roll into a busy holiday season. I'm Brandy Ebert. I'm a senior customer success manager here at Cooleaf / ITA Group. And I will let our other presenters introduce themselves. Nick?
Yeah, my name is Nick Elliott. I'm another one of our senior customer success managers here at Cooleaf. I'm based in South Louisiana. I know Brandy was saying she's in the Sunshine State, so we are in the warmer states here, but do also love a good coffee all year round. Johnny.
I am Johnny Wall. I am a customer success manager here at Cooleaf, and I am up in Philly, and it may not be the South, but it is still in the 80s. So I'm going to count myself right along there with you until next month.
Nice.
Nick Keena's from Shreveport. I always say that wrong. Did I say it wrong again?
Or that's north. That's like South Arkansas at that point, but yeah.
Nick's in Hammond.
I'm very south. I'm just not far from New Orleans.
Well, what we're going to chat about today is celebrating the season of joy with your team. So all those fun holiday things that happen this time of year and how we appreciate and, make our teams feel welcomed and loved during the fall. So what we'll chat about today is what does meaningful celebration look like for an employee, curating an atmosphere of culture and joy, some of our favorite tips, and then we'll do some Q&A so you can ask us any questions that you have, and then we'll have a special giveaway for one of our attendees at the end.
Yeah.
All right. So what we wanted to start off with, because it's really the spirit of the holiday and what you all do, is how do we make people that work with us, our employees, feel appreciated and celebrated? And a lot of companies like to do that at the end of the year as sort of a holiday experience or as part of wrapping up the end of the calendar year gift and things like that. So some of the ways that individuals feel celebrated is that sense of community and connection that comes with the holidays. So those holiday traditions you do, the potluck, the parties, the team events, the gatherings, those things that make people feel connected and special during the holidays. Another thing is affirmation from peers. So do they feel appreciated and really valued by their peers? And then even elevated from that, do they feel that they've been acknowledged by their manager, other leaders of the company? Are you sending out a message wishing everyone well and thanking them for all of the great work they did this year? Are there specific interactions coming from managers showing appreciation, and then our senior leaders also involved in that? So it's really a top-down approach to making sure everyone's feeling recognized and appreciated. And then another thing that we see a lot of is a tangible gift to showcase their value to the organization. We do that a lot in reference to points through the Cooleaf platform, but we see that done a lot of different ways, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the presentation. We have a couple of statistics here on the side just to share with you about employee sentiment regarding rewards. They found that 65% of employees strongly agree that merchandise and travel awards are remembered longer than, say, $20 in their paycheck or a $100 bonus at the end of the year. Catherine's not on video, but she's running the behind the scenes right now. I always think of her when I think of this stat because she saves up all of her Cooleaf points, and in the spring she does her garden. She gets her seeds, and she does all of her planting and cleaning up of her home garden. And she says when she goes outside and looks at her garden, she thinks about how appreciated she is at work. That came from recognitions from others. And I always think that's such a sweet sentiment. That's something she sees every day, reminds her of how she feels appreciated at work. And then 83% of senior managers said that recognition is important to their workplace experience. And 64% of employees say recognition and appreciation is even more important while working from home. And we'll talk a little bit more about inclusion and remote workers and things like that as you roll into the holidays, because we know it can be a bit of a tricky situation if you're both remote and in office as a sort of hybrid workforce.
Beautiful. What are some ways we can accomplish making folks feel celebrated, especially when it comes to Cooleaf? Right off the bat, awards. This is one of our favorite ways to mark the holidays, and for some of our partners who have been here in past years, you know exactly how this works. It's super easy to utilize. It's a great way to get a message from leadership to the entire organization, help everyone feel connected and appreciated, especially during such a hectic time, as all of y'all know. And this allows the issue of bulk award of points to your population, and they can select that meaningful reward for themselves, express their agency, and allow themselves to still feel appreciated via that message from leadership. And this is going right back to what Brandy was saying about Catherine. Every time she looks out at her garden, she knows she was appreciated because of those points she earned throughout the year and then at the holiday. The other option is gifting. You can just jump right to the final gift. We can work with our dev team. We can push out e-gifts of products you think your team will find most meaningful and impactful. We can also do this on a much smaller scale. I had a partner who empowered all of their people leaders with gifting budgets, utilizing sort of those awards. And it allowed them to use those funds to select gift cards and rewards that meant the most to their direct reports. And I would recommend, just in general, if you're thinking about going gifting, think about e-gift cards, because it is a super easy thing to send out since we're already empowered with your team's emails. So we won't need to collect any additional information, just collecting the gift you're wanting to send out. And then the final option that we can easily tap into is giveaways. You can reward for daily or weekly engagement via raffles and contests on the platform. And we know it's not always possible to budget for a gift for the entire organization at the end of the year, especially after budgeting for the rest of the year already. And this is a great way to tap into the spirit of the season as a whole and make people feel special and engaged while still protecting that budget that you already set out. Or if you're utilizing other tools in the platform, giveaways are a great supplemental activity to sort of keep engagement varied and active throughout the entire season.
Yeah, there's lots of fun things that happen during the holiday season as well. And you'll see that in some of our upcoming programming with, Halloween costume contests and recipe swaps for Thanksgiving and things like that. So sometimes the giveaways are also great to use in those challenges to award winners, or if you're using a voting function or something like that. So that there's that spirit of giving, even if you can't do a gift to every individual employee. Johnny, thanks for sharing all of those. That's really great. What we want from you all in the chat, if you can, is if you could share what makes you feel most celebrated at the end of the year as an employee, just so we can see what some other perspectives are.
Beautiful. And now, obviously, as Brandy was mentioning out, gifting is not the only option and only way to celebrate employees at the end of the year. It's one piece of a much larger tapestry when we're talking about end of year engagement, where we're focused on fostering a culture and an atmosphere of joy. While you're churning on Brandy's question, I have another follow-up question as well on what you're being appreciated for. Is when you're thinking of an atmosphere of joy, what's one fun tradition your company does for employees? If you toss that in the chat as well, just to get your brains churning so people can feed off each other's ideas. When we're fostering this culture of joy, and we look at the global workforce holistically, we have opportunities to engage and celebrate our teams all season long. From Rosh Hashanah in 2 weeks to Diwali at the end of October to Canadian and US Thanksgiving, all the way through Las Posadas, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, New Year, Eastern Orthodox Christmas. It can seem a little overwhelming. It's so many holidays and nearly impossible to feel entirely inclusive of. But we can be inclusive by tying all of this engagement back to key themes present across the majority of these observances. First one is gratitude. Encouraging recognition both from peers and managers, as Brandy mentioned a couple slides ago, is a great way to anchor engagement during the season. And we are sure to always support you with gratitude challenges in your standard program plan. I think the next one is coming up in November, so get ready for that. The next option is gifting. We tapped into that in the previous slide with the different options for utilizing our platform. But it could extend far beyond that. It could be on-site or virtual parties. It could be additional PTO, et cetera. We have lots of opportunities to tap into that spirit of giving this season. And the sort of final key piece there is reflection. Now is the perfect time to slow down and reflect. It's an easy way to reforge connection between your organization and the employees through tapping into your core values and the values associated with this season of celebration. Things like thankfulness, hope, kindness, camaraderie. And all of that can be tied up in a bow with the ability for folks to share their own unique traditions and fun, which builds into our next tenet, creating connection.
Yeah. So like Johnny already mentioned, I mean, we have the gifting, we have the awards that we can really allow your employees and your community to connect. But we can also use a lot of other areas within the Cooleaf platform that allow you to build this connection and build this community. Whether you're using some of our standard programming, like Johnny said, and that might be some things coming up like our annual costume party or finding a volunteer opportunity challenge, we want to really challenge you to think about different ways to have your community connect as well. Maybe it's sharing a photo for something coming up, or you're asking them to reflect. We want to give them all the opportunities, especially like Brandy mentioned earlier too. We have voting challenges as a fun way that maybe I can engage, but everyone's building this community of connection right here within the Cooleaf platform where everyone is already on. There's so many additional features within the Cooleaf platform that you may or may not be using as well. So we want to make sure you kind of think about that entire tool belt that you have available to you. Whether you're using the standard programming, we have so many more challenges that you can also utilize. We have an entire challenge template library that you can pull from. So you can think about challenges like one of my favorite is our cookie recipe swap that we do during the holiday months to see everyone cooks, and makes cookies differently. You can just do a general recipe swap during the holiday months, but also really good time to do some reflection challenges. So asking people, what is one thing you accomplished this year that you're grateful for? So many more. So I really encourage you to check out the challenge template library, and you can easily access how to find these if you just go to support.cooleaf.com. That's our entire resource library to tell you how to get to those. Outside of challenges, we also have main feed prompts. So some of you might be running main feed challenges at your organization, but maybe we want to run some main feed challenges or main feed prompts during these holiday months as well. Some of Brandy's favorites are doing some of our this and that kind of main feed challenges. So do you prefer fake Christmas trees or live Christmas trees? Do you like pumpkin or apple spice? And it's just a really easy way for people to engage. As soon as they log into the platform, they're right there on the home page. They see what's on the feed. Maybe you pinned it to the top. Really starts getting the conversations going. Sometimes a little fun battle and camaraderie there of, oh, well, why do you like pumpkin more than apple and things of that nature. But outside of those, we also have our discussion groups. So discussion groups can be used for a wide variety of things throughout the year, but you can really think about how we can continue maybe some of our challenges throughout the year in discussion groups. So maybe it's a recipe swap discussion group where I can really put a prompt in there, encourage people during the holidays to share maybe what is a cultural dish that you like to share, what is a, major cookie recipe that you share in your organization, but also creating other discussion groups that are focused on, maybe sharing in your community. What does your local community do during the holidays, especially allowing your remote community to connect across the globe as well. You might find what someone does in one market during the year is different than what someone else does. And so I really love discussion groups to continue throughout the year. It's also a really great time to dive in and tap into your ERG groups. If you already have some live ERG groups in our discussion groups that I know several of you all do, really want to encourage and prompt your ERG groups to share what they do during the holidays. How do they connect with their community? Because this also allows others at your organization to jump into those discussion groups and see and learn. And so we love to be able to create this all in one area. The great thing about that is really, like Johnny said, we really want to make sure that we are just building a community and a place of joy for all. It is so easy to utilize the platform to be able to connect with everyone. So whether you're in office or you're at a different location, we can build this as the one center for being able to have a joyful holiday season. If you wanted to build in, different items of, connection for all different areas. It's really important because not everyone can always attend, especially some of you have in-office parties at the holidays at the end of the year. That's really great, but we want to make sure that you're taking a step back and thinking, can everyone attend? And if someone is not able to attend, whether for a personal reason or they got sick during the holidays, how are we still making sure that they're included? So having something like a challenge or a prompt on the platform is still allowing them to feel like they're included and participating in the holiday joy without having to be in person. So,
Yeah, I think another important thing to point out is the ability for segmentation. So if you are doing something for your in-office employees or certain locations of your business, but you want to do something a little bit different for your field employees or remote employees or different locations, you can always segment challenges out and target those individual groups so
yeah.
that they have tailored programming or tailored activities or a tailored gift that's seen by them, but not other people who are receiving the holiday joy in a different way. Just knowing that that's an option to sort of segment the population in that way.
Yeah. But to do all of this, we understand that we want to make sure that you're successful. And so Brandy's going to share some of our tips and tricks to make sure that we get through the holiday months.
Yeah. So it's early in the fall, as we've seen in the chat. It's almost fall in some places. So the first thing I want to talk about is planning in advance. We talked about how meaningful it is to have a heartfelt message. And I think someone in the chat even said that was one of their favorite things that makes them feel appreciated during the holidays is, a message from leaders and recap of the year. But we know those take time to get the right people in the room, to get things made if there's a video and things like that. So planning ahead is something that we want to keep on your mind, which is why we're having this so early in the fall. Also, it's a high redemption time of year, so advanced planning for budgets is also important, deciding on if you're giving a gift or not, or if you want to do a giveaway option or something else instead. And then a lot of people save up their points during the holidays. So we see a lot of low budget alerts happen because people are, redeeming points more frequently during this time of year. So just making sure that, if you need to do any invoicing or if you have questions about budget allocation, that, we're looking at that early. And then also people like to use their points to spend on gifts and other things during the holidays. So if you're giving a gift, considering, the timing of it, if it's early enough that people will see it and be able to utilize it for the holidays, or if, they wouldn't see it until the new year or something like that, if they're out on vacation. We tend to see a lot of gifts at the very end of the year, but to speak for timing, there's no right or wrong way to do this. We see all kinds of varieties of when people do appreciation gifts. We know that there are some global workforces that have different holidays or different schedules, and also everyone has different observances, and some people like to shy away from celebrating just one observance. So sometimes we see just the spirit of giving around Thanksgiving. People will do their holiday gift then, or to celebrate the new year, to close out the year, they'll do it around that. But we still see a ton of gifts around the Christmas holiday or Hanukkah, or the traditional holidays that you tend to see when you look at this season. Another thing we wanted to talk about is focusing on inclusion. So obviously inclusion from a DEI perspective, everyone celebrates things differently. Everyone has different beliefs and different holidays, and there's a plethora of things that happen during the fall months, whether it's Kwanzaa or Christmas or Hanukkah. Diwali is in the fall. So just making sure that we're being inclusive and we're not doing anything that sort of makes someone feel that they couldn't participate because it's not their thing. And there's lots of ways to do that, to have a general theme of the holidays without necessarily calling out a certain religious holiday or something like that. And then also inclusion from the perspective of where are your employees? A lot of you said in the chat that you still have Christmas parties in person at a nice restaurant or thrown by the company. And I think that's wonderful. One thing I have seen is a lot of companies have a diversity in where people work, and either they'll fly people to those Christmas parties or they won't. But then sometimes the remote workforce is left out, or there's a certain demographic or department that can't participate in some way. So just making sure that from the inclusion perspective that we're not only thinking about the core corporate employees, that, if we have field employees or you have other locations that are unable to attend an in-person event, or maybe aren't going to participate in a certain way with some of your other holiday planning, that maybe you have a different way to include them. And that's where that segmentation comes in as well. Also, diversity in the types of gifts and awards. You know your workforce best. So some of you may say, like, this is tried and true. We have some clients that their company loves their swag. Thinking of, I don't know if Dara's on here. I'm thinking about Bark. They love their Bark swag. So they always do a swag gift at the end of the year. And that's just, that's what they do. Others, maybe that doesn't resonate well with your workforce. Maybe you do points, or maybe you do a straight gift of, this is a, $25 gift card to this or something. But whatever it is that works for your workforce, you can let us know, and we'll do our best to accommodate that and make sure everyone feels included and like the gift was meaningful and gets to the right people. And then we are, you can put questions in the chat or in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen if you have any questions about holiday gifting or holiday programming, or how to make your employees feel appreciated during the season. We wanted to start with some of our frequently asked questions, and then we'll grab the questions that have been submitted from attendees. I'm going to pass the first one to Nick of our FAQs, and that is, what would you recommend for a meaningful gift? Is there a minimum amount, or that's still meaningful? We get asked this all the time. What do you recommend for that?
Yeah, I think the best way to approach this one is really understanding that really no gift is too small. I mean, it really comes to making sure that your employees are being, respected at the end of the year, making sure they're being acknowledged. Even if it's just working with your leadership to send out a really meaningful message, letting them know that you appreciate them in this holiday time during the end of the year. We really want to focus on that. As long as you're doing something, that's really what we want to focus on first. Outside of that, we're just thinking about what Brandy just said a minute ago too, is what you understand your employees the best. I mean, we love to see, a $10, gift sent to everyone, just showing them their small appreciation. That gets them, either a coffee at their local, coffee shop, or maybe a small lunch, something of that nature. But it's really good to see. But overall, we really love to just look at that. We're focusing on, gifting them points. So that is giving them something that they can kind of grow towards. Maybe it's just giving them 100 points that allows them to kind of build upon earning something larger that they already got their eye on in their rewards catalog, other than just focusing on giving them that, that $5 gift card, $10 gift card. But really, overall, we giving them a gift of any time is going to be appreciated, especially if they're not expecting it. I mean, sometimes towards the end of the year, like Brandy was saying, towards the end of that, December, maybe they're going to expect that holiday bonus, but they're probably not going to expect a nice, thoughtful message coming in early November, letting them know that they're, being appreciated. It's keeping in mind we understand we're moving towards the end of the year. So really love to see that, any gift is a great gift. Anything else, Johnny or Brandy?
Yeah, well, another thing I wanted to bring up that I don't think we talked about is we often see as well that there may be departments that have had a really wild year, and that department finished a giant project or acquisition or something really large, and they want to really appreciate those employees that worked on that. We've seen gifts done differently across the company. So if you have a manager or a people leader or a certain department that says, I know the company itself does something, but we have the budget and we want to do something meaningful from us to our group. We can set those up as well, and we can help you with that. Sometimes we see that from different teams that want to reward, especially if they had a really big year.
Yeah. Johnny, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of shine a candle on the one thing you mentioned, which was that meaningful message. That's my partners last year. The one thing I told them, just get a really solid message from leadership, or we can help you put together a video. We've done that multiple. It's very easy for us. We'll happily put together a video message from leadership or from the C-suite, just letting folks know how appreciated they are, and that at a base level will pay dividends for your engagement and for your population and your appreciation.
Yeah. Brandy, we have a question for you. Well, it's not specifically for you, but how far in advance should we start planning rewards or gifts for the holiday season?
Yeah. Um, it's going to depend on when you want to give your gifts or when you close down for the holidays. A lot of you said in the chat, one of your favorite things you all do is close between Christmas and New Year's or get some extra PTO at the end of the year. Obviously, you want it to be received by the employees. So waiting until everyone's on vacation or, takes off is probably not the best time to do it. But whatever that date is, whether you're going to do it around Thanksgiving so people can take advantage of Black Friday, or whether you're waiting until the holiday season and end of year, just working backwards from that and making sure that we're thinking through all of the resources that we need. Are you making a video? Do you need to get a team together to put something together? Do you need budget approvals? Do you need to do invoicing and things like that? Are you doing a more complicated activity in the platform or whatnot? So really, as far in advance as you can, I think is a good way to start. But certainly just planning around how long things take based on when you're planning to do them. Anything else to add to that, you guys?
No, I mean, it really comes down to just thinking about your own processes and how far in advance, especially like you were saying earlier, Brandy, thinking about timing and who needs to be involved or even Johnny, if you're wanting to do a video message from your leadership, if you understand that your senior leadership schedules are so packed, start getting on their calendars today. I mean, start reaching out and saying, hey, this is what we want to do for November. Can we get a quick, message from you? Or I need to grab 15 minutes to schedule a quick, video with you for a message for appreciation. So really making sure that we're starting sooner than later. And I mean, if you have everything packaged up and bundled and ready to go, weeks before, that's never going to hurt. And so we'll work with you to kind of make sure we send that out at the time that you need to. But it's never too early to plan for the holidays.
Yeah, I will say if you aren't going the route of points, but you're giving a gift to everyone in the true gifting sense, where you're picking something from the platform that's getting sent out, I would give a little more leeway for that, just because it requires some back end work to get those gifts all pushed out at the same time with the same message. So at least allow a few days, or, let us know a week ahead of time that it's going out the next week. Oh, yeah. That's a great question, Kina. I love this one. So Kina said, if you all are reading the chat, I plan on highlighting Giving Tuesday at my org in December. Interested to hear how Cooleaf supports volunteerism and giving. So a couple different ways. Nick mentioned discussion groups and having, what types of community events you're doing. If you have any sort of informal or formal community give back or volunteer group, that's a great thing to put in the platform so they can have that discussion. Where are you volunteering? Do you want to meet up together? Are you giving to a specific organization? The other thing that we have is donations to charity within the platform. So in every platform, there's a charity choice gift card that can be redeemed. And that can be, once you redeem it, you go to the charity choice website and you donate those funds to a charity of your choice. And there's hundreds of those to choose from, both national and international and local organizations. But as far as Giving Tuesday, there's also some great things to do as far as challenges or activities in the platform. We'd be happy to help you look through the template library to grab any past ones we've done or curate a custom one that you could do at your organization. But sometimes I've seen like competition around giving back and things like that, where people are sort of competing to see who does the most redemptions of charity choice. And then, they award a winner in that way, or having main feed challenges where people discuss like where they plan to spend those donation dollars. I think did we have one just recently about that, Johnny?
We've got one on November 1st. We specifically have a volunteer challenge on November 1st, kicking off in your recommended programming plan called Find a Volunteer Opportunity Near You. So keep an eye out for that. And as Brandy mentioned, we have a plethora of challenges in our library that we can help template and pull up for you.
Yeah, I think I was just going to highlight too, like what Brandy and what Johnny said earlier, utilizing kind of doing a raffle or a giveaway for that top, whether it's the top department that did the most redemptions of charity choice or the top, individual that you saw give back the most. That's a nice way to also just kind of award them with a separate amount, with kind of a bonus points or bonus award or something like that by going above and beyond for that service. So there's definitely, a plethora of things like Brandy was saying that we could do and support you in.
Nick, I'm going to brag on you for a second here. So another idea that I just remembered off the top of my head. So we have companies that have internal sort of give back initiatives for employee assistance programs and things like that.
Yeah.
And Nick has one that he set up for a particular company where people can donate their points essentially to this fund. And then when there's an employee in need, they use that fund to gift them gift cards that could help them in whatever situation they're in, whether it's a car broke down or house fire or, just a general struggle, or giving food or flowers or whatnot during a hard time.
Right.
But another idea is you could set up essentially like a 50-50 raffle for that, where you fund your employee assistance program and people donate their points to that. And then you take half of those points and put them into that fund. And then the other half you award to a winner or something like that. So there's all kinds of fun, cool little ideas we can help you with in the platform.
We can get really creative. I mean, the team of us three, if you have an idea, maybe it's a hair of an idea, you don't even have a full thought, just send it our way. Reach out to the success team. We will make something happen.
Tell us what you're trying to accomplish. We love a good creative challenge.
Yeah.
Feel free to submit any other questions in the chat. We have a few more minutes here, I think. I'm looking to see if there's any questions here. Johnny, can you take this one? How do you handle scheduling events or celebrations when different team members observe different holidays?
It's a great question. It's I think it comes down to ensuring you have a lot of open celebrations. Obviously, there's numerous events and celebrations, but finding things that allow for folks to have time off, or if they can't participate, having something in the platform so they can still participate virtually. Say, maybe you have some members on your team who are out fasting for Yom Kippur, but you have an event that day, allowing them to celebrate after the fact virtually. And then just, I think, including events and celebrations that are more open and inclusive in general, instead of having um, a Christmas cookie swap, having a holiday recipe sharing challenge and things like that, really expanding out as many opportunities as possible so folks can share their own view. And even say your team is 100% everyone celebrates Christmas. I know growing up, nobody that I knew looked for pickles in the Christmas tree to open the first present. There are so many unique traditions across all the religions and celebrations and observances, to just get creative and open that up and allow folks to express themselves without limiting it in a narrow scope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Cool.
Nick.
Well, I was going to say, and just kind of making sure when you're developing the programming or whatever kind of communications you're putting out there, that we're thinking about how we can both celebrate those that do recognize that holiday or, that special recognition there, but also maybe using it as an opportunity for those who do not participate to learn and be able to participate and educate themselves as well. You don't have to, because we can make a lot of things optional in the platform, but I think that's really great. We do a lot of DE and IB programming in our own Cooleaf instance here at Cooleaf. And it allows me to learn a lot about a different holiday that I've maybe never heard of in another country. And so it's really nice to I may not be actually participating in that specific holiday, but I can learn, I can do a little bit of research and participate in the challenge or the prompt, whatever it is, to really expand my education around that observance.
Yeah, it's a great time to build awareness. And keep in mind the scheduling tool inside the platform is a great thing to use for that. If you want to chart out what observances are happening in the next couple months, and then just have a scheduled post that goes out that says happy whatever to everyone that celebrates, and here's some information about it. And then you can engage people in the chat, what do you find fascinating about this holiday, or how would you celebrate, or what did you learn about this? And you can link articles and other things. We do that all the time in our own platform, just to raise awareness and have a greater view of all the cultures that might be celebrating. Megan asked, do you recommend shorter challenges over the holidays to keep things fresh and exciting, or longer ones knowing that people are in and out with holiday plans, etc.? Megan, we usually recommend a variety at any point in time. So if you follow our standard programming, you'll see that there's typically a month long, a week long, and maybe a shorter challenge in there. And then we also like to sprinkle in some main feed type things. One thing I would consider is if you feel that your workforce takes off the last 2 weeks of the year or something like that, you probably don't want to run it during that week. But it's really going to depend on your employees and how much they're in and out during that season. But we like to have a variety of ways to engage. And not just the length of the challenges, but also how they're engaging. Not everyone's comfortable posting a picture of their holiday costume or whatnot, but if they can vote in that challenge, they feel like they have some sort of engagement there. And if there's other things for them to participate in, they still feel included. So just a variety of both time commitment and types of activities for people.
I would say the marketing and communication around the programming that you're going to do is going to be important too. So if I know that there's a 2-week challenge coming up, maybe starting next week, I'm at least making sure I'm aware whether I'm going to be out, letting them know and not just kind of bringing it upon them on the day that it goes live. You do have that function and feature within the challenges on when that post, so people can start learning about it. So maybe they learn about it a few days before, or if you do any type of internal communications, we can make sure that that's covered. So I know we are getting close to time. So I want to make sure that we announce our raffle winner. So for today, we are gifting out a 12-ounce Cooleaf Holiday tumbler with our Cooleaf Holiday logo on it, and a Starbucks gift card. And let me see who our winner is on here. I'm waiting for our handy dandy Catherine in the background to send me a message. It looks like,
White. Who is
and drum roll, please. We got Aaliyah Hormy? Is that I know I butchered that last name. I'm sorry, but Leah, you're our winner. So we're going to be reaching out and giving you this wonderful tumbler. We have a couple employees who have this and they love them, but we'll be sending that your way.
Um, there was a link put in the chat as well, but there's a QR code here for our 2024 holiday calendar. So feel free to download that. And again, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about your holiday plans or anything like that. Additionally, we'll communicate out proactively here soon with resources and somewhere where you can submit your holiday plans if you need our assistance in getting those set up. But we're excited for this time of year. I can't believe it's here already. And we've loved getting to spend some time with you. And if you all need anything, please let us know.
Enjoy your pumpkin spice.
Yes.
Or whatever you prefer. We move into the holiday seasons.
My caramel cold brew over here.
I have whatever's in it. Sometimes it's just a sweet cream, you know, just depends.